Remarkable stuff here, captured for the first time ever on video. The giant squid in its natural habitat. The mysterious creature can grow to 50 feet long with eyes the size of dinner plates.
For 1,000 years, sailors came back from the ocean with stories about a creature so massive it could drag a ship underwater with its tentacles. Science laughed at them every time, called it superstition, hallucination, stories from men who'd spent too long staring at open water. Then, in 2004, a Japanese zoologist dropped a camera 900 meters into the Pacific and photographed it alive.
We've got something, the size of a 2 to 4 story house in the deep ocean that we've never seen. That's crazy.
8 meters long, silver, attacking its prey so fast and so violently that it ripped its own tentacle off trying to escape the bait line. 5.5 meters of severed arm, still twitching on the steel cable. The Kraken was real. The sailors were right. For 1,000 years, they were right. And it's not ancient history. Right now, tonight, somewhere in the deep ocean, sperm whales are diving into the dark to fight these things. They come back up with circular scars pressed into their skin and squid beaks lodged in their stomachs. Those battles are happening as you watch this video, 1,000 meters below the surface, in water so black that neither animal can see the other. They hunt each other by sound and by feel. We've explored 5% of the ocean. The creature that hid from science for 1,000 years was living in the 5% we looked at. The other 95% is deeper, darker, and colder than anything we've mapped. Stay with me, because what we've found so far is already stranger than the myth. The man who proved the Kraken was real spent most of his career being told he was wasting his time. Tsunemi Kubodera was a zoologist at Japan's National Museum of Science. While his colleagues studied animals they could actually find, Kubodera chased something that had never been seen alive by any human in recorded history. Other researchers published papers. He published theories about an animal nobody could prove existed. For years, the scientific community treated him the way they treated the sailors, politely, patiently, and with the quiet certainty that he was chasing a ghost. Then he did something nobody else had thought to try. Instead of searching randomly, Kubodera followed the sperm whales. He partnered with a man named Kyoichi Mori, who ran the local whale watching operation and knew exactly where the sperm whales dived. He knew they ate giant squid, so he tracked whale pods to their hunting grounds off the Ogasawara Islands, south of Tokyo, and dropped a baited camera line 900 meters straight down. A hook, some shrimp, a squid for bait, a digital camera, and a strobe that fired every 30 seconds. 20 failed drops. Nothing. Empty water. Black frames. The kind of results that make you wonder if the thing you've spent your whole life looking for was ever really there at all. Then on September 30th, 2004, at 9:15 in the morning, the camera started capturing something. A shape moving toward the bait. Long, silver, fast. The tentacles hit first, wrapping around the bait line with enough force to bend the steel hardware. Nobody had expected it to move like that. Scientists had called it a drifter. Slow, passive, barely alive at those depths. What the photographs showed was something else entirely. This thing attacked from a horizontal position, strangling the bait in a ball of arms, pulling with a violence that rewrote everything the textbooks had assumed. 500 photographs over 4 hours. And when the squid finally tore itself free, it left behind a tentacle, 5.5 meters long, snagged on the hooks, still moving when the crew hauled the line up. DNA confirmed it was exactly what Kubodera had spent his career looking for, the giant squid, the living animal behind 1,000 years of Kraken legends. He stood on the deck of a 5-ton fishing boat, holding the arm of a creature the scientific world had called imaginary, and he didn't say a word. But a photograph wasn't enough. He needed to see it swim, not hooked on a line, not fighting for its life, swimming free in the black water where it actually lives. That took 8 more years. In 2012, Kubodera went back, this time in a submersible, a 3-person vessel cramped enough to give you nightmares and cold enough to make you forget why you volunteered. 100 missions, 400 hours sitting in the dark, watching screens, waiting for something to move. Imagine doing that for 400 hours and seeing nothing. Then imagine hour 401. It appeared out of the black like it had always been there and was just deciding to let them see it. A giant squid, 3 meters long with 2 arms missing, gliding through the water at 630 meters deep. Silver, luminous, moving with a grace that didn't match anything Kubodera had spent his career studying. He told reporters later that it was so beautiful it seemed to sparkle. But the animal that sparkled in the dark was built for something far less beautiful. And once you understand what this creature actually is, The 1,000 years of terror makes perfect sense. The giant squid has the largest eyes of any living animal on Earth, each one the size of a dinner plate, 27 centimeters across. Those eyes were built for one thing: finding prey in a world where there is no light. At 900 meters deep, the ocean is absolute black. You couldn't see your own hand. The giant squid sees bioluminescent flashes from prey and predators that glow like distant headlights at the end of a highway you can't see. Millions of years of evolution, all pointed at one job: hunting in the dark. Its body stretches past 13 meters, over 40 feet from fins to the tips of its feeding tentacles. The two longest tentacles work separately from the 8 arms. They fire outward like whips, grab whatever they touch, and drag it back to a beak sitting in the center of the arm cluster. A beak, not a mouth. A hard, sharp, parrot-shaped beak strong enough to slice through fish and bone the way scissors cut through cardboard. And the tentacles are lined with suckers. But don't picture the soft rubber cups you've seen on an octopus at an aquarium. These suckers are ringed with teeth, hard, serrated, sharp enough to cut into whatever they grab, and strong enough to hold it there. When a giant squid latches onto a sperm whale during a deep ocean fight, those toothed suckers carve circular scars into the whale's skin. Marine biologists have been finding those scars on beached whales for over 100 years. Each scar is a receipt from a battle that happened in total darkness at a depth no human has ever seen. The 2004 photographs proved it wasn't passive. The 2012 footage proved it wasn't slow. It calculates, it approaches, it waits, and then it fires, forcing water through its body like a jet engine, launching itself forward like a torpedo with tentacles. Fast enough that prey doesn't have time to react. Precise enough that it can strike in the dark using nothing but the glow of another animal's body. 40 feet long, eyes the size of dinner plates, a beak that cuts through bone, arms lined with teeth, and it lives in the part of the ocean we still can't reach without a machine. The sailors didn't exaggerate. If anything, they undersold it. But the giant squid has one enemy, one animal that dives into that black water specifically to find it. And the evidence of those fights is written on the bodies of both animals in a language that doesn't need translation. Sperm whales are the largest toothed predators on Earth, 18 meters long, 60 tons. They dive past 1,000 meters and hold their breath for over an hour. They don't go down there for the scenery. They go because the giant squid is their primary food source. The deep ocean is a hunting ground, and the sperm whale enters it the way a lion enters tall grass, already knowing what it's looking for. The battles happen in total darkness. The whale uses echolocation, bursts of clicking sound that bounce off objects and paint a picture of everything around it in 3 dimensions. The squid uses its eyes, those massive dinner plates, scanning for the whale's shadow against the faint glow of bioluminescence above. Both animals know the other is there. Neither one turns around. When they collide, the evidence ends up on the whale's body. Circular scars, dozens of them, sometimes hundreds, pressed into the skin by sucker teeth that grip hard enough to hold a 60-ton animal in place. And here's the detail that should make the hair on your neck stand up. Some whales have been found with scars larger than any sucker ring on any giant squid ever recovered, which means the squids that made those marks were bigger than anything we've ever pulled out of the ocean. Bigger than anything in any museum. Bigger than anything we have a name for. Inside those same whales, marine biologists find the beaks. Giant squid beaks don't digest. They pile up. A single sperm whale can carry hundreds of beaks in its stomach, each one a record of a kill, hundreds of fights, hundreds of dives into the dark water where the squid lives. Hundreds of times the whale went down and came back up with another piece of evidence that nobody on the surface would ever see. These fights are happening right now. Not in a legend, not in the past. Tonight, in the deep trenches of every major ocean on the planet. 2 animals that have been killing each other for millions of years, in water that no human has ever lit up long enough to watch the whole thing unfold. And here's the part that should sit with you long after this video ends. The giant squid might not even be the biggest thing down there. In 1925, scientists discovered a second species, the colossal squid. Deeper, darker, colder. It lives in the freezing waters around Antarctica in conditions that make the giant squid's habitat look comfortable. And it may grow larger, some researchers believe significantly larger, though intact specimens are so rare that nobody's sure exactly how big they get. Fewer than a dozen have ever been recovered whole. The colossal squid doesn't just have toothed suckers, it has hooks, rotating, swiveling hooks built into its tentacles that latch onto prey and spin, like grappling anchors welded to its arms. And it has something the giant squid doesn't: built-in headlights. light organs inside its own eyes that let it see in conditions where even the giant squid's dinner plate eyes go blind. An animal with headlights in its eyes, rotating hooks on its arms, and a body potentially bigger than anything we've measured, living in the deepest, coldest water on the planet. And we have never filmed one alive in the wild, not once. Edith Witter, the oceanographer who helped film the giant squid in 2012, said it better than anyone. We've only explored 5% of the ocean, and I think we've been exploring it the wrong way. We've scared a lot of animals away. What about the stuff that doesn't float when it dies? Sit with that for a second. The giant squid, the animal behind the Kraken, the creature that fights whales in the dark, the thing that hid from every scientist who ever looked for it for 1,000 years, only came to our attention because dead ones occasionally float to the surface. If they sank instead, we might still be calling them a myth right now. The colossal squid doesn't float. Almost nothing in the deep ocean does. Whatever else is down there, in the 95% we haven't reached, is hiding the same way the Kraken hid, by living in a place we can't go and dying in a way we can't see. For 1,000 years, the Kraken was a campfire story told by sailors who nobody believed. Now it's a photographed, filmed, genetically confirmed animal with the largest eyes on Earth and a body longer than a school bus. The sailors tried to tell us. We didn't listen. It took a zoologist on a 5-ton fishing boat, a camera on a steel cable, and a severed tentacle still twitching on the line to prove what the men who worked the water had known all along. The Kraken was always real. We just weren't ready to believe the people who'd seen it. And somewhere in the deep right now, in water so dark that your eyes would see nothing, a giant squid and a sperm whale are circling each other. 60 tons of mammal against 40 feet of tentacles. No witnesses, no cameras, no record of what happens next, except the scars on the whale's skin and the beak in its stomach. That war has been going on longer than human civilization, and we only just found out it was happening.